That's it, baby. Now that right there is the Nestor Cortes we now love, the Aroldis Chapman that we need, and the Brett Garner that we're going to miss when he's gone. All three in one, right there. And that was a much needed win for the Yankees. I had a bad feeling when Chapman came in, and after Green gave up that home run. But these guys got to acknowledge that Green is gassed, man. He is gassed. He's tired, and it's time to call up Adam Warren or somebody else to give Green a break. Okay, he needs a break, but the Yankees won, and it was really important that they won because Toronto and Boston won today too. So they're staying right in the mix, which is exactly what they need to do. So, and they should be beating these guys anyway. They should be a bit easier, but you know what? They're winning these tight competitive games now, and they still have the best record in baseball in one-run games. So, kudos to Brett Gardner. Kudos to Nestor Cortes, 6 and a third, 11 strikeouts, 1 run. I mean, his ERA is 2.60. So, and just to put in perspective, Garrett Cole's is 2.75. So, that's impressive. Really, really, really impressive pitching display for Nestor Cortes. So, he's becoming a very valuable piece for this rotation. I hope that he continues to do that. And for those that don't know, he's under team control to 2026. He's young. He's only 26 years old. The Yankees have him for 4 more seasons at the cheap, on the cheap. So, good thing. Good thing. Yeah, Laurie, I mean, at this point, yeah, I mean, he's gassed. And I've been saying this recently, in the beginning of the season, with the exception of Cole, the starting pitchers didn't really do much at all. They didn't give length, they didn't give anything. So it puts so much more of a burden on the bullpen. And by the time, the second half of the season came, the starters started really pitching well. And Tyone, Montgomery, and Nestor, and like all these other guys. And Nestor wasn't even here for the beginning of the season, but at that point, a lot of the relief pitchers were tired, like Green being overused. He's gassed. Like O'Day's hurt and done for the year. Britton's hurt, done for the year. So they've lost quite a few guys, and a bunch of them now are just. I mean, Green is clearly gassed. Like he's still throwing hard, but he's not locating the way he's locating before. And he just doesn't have that zip at the end of the pitch that he did before, and he's clearly tired. So, and that's why I keep saying, call up somebody like Adam Warren, man. Call up somebody like Aaron Warren and just let him give guys like Green a break, and Warren can come up and throw a couple innings. I mean, be a 2 or 3 reliever guy, a 2 or 3 inning guy, and he's been a reliable Yankee since he's been with the Yankees. So, Ryan Hunter, we need to sweep them. Yeah, we absolutely need to sweep them. We got to keep on par with these guys in the wild card, and we have to keep on. We can't not work to close the gap to Tampa Bay. So even though it's not going to happen at this point, at least I don't think so, but we have to have that mentality like they're going to try to do it so that they can continue to stay on with Toronto and Boston, who are hot now. Hot now. I mean, what are you going to do? So they got to keep up with them. And it's Michael. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know why Greg Allen's not up here either. I I did a video on Greg. Where the hell is Greg Allen? Like, he should be up here. And in as much as I'm appreciative of what Brett Garner's doing right now, Greg Allen should be getting opportunities as well. And Greg Allen could be here to give Joey Gallo a break when he needs a day off. Give the outfielders a rotating day off, Stanton a day off, Judge a day off. That's what Greg Allen's for. You can play him on the regular. He's a switch hitter. He has speed. He's a contact hitter. He moves guys over. He gets on base. Like, he does a lot of the little things that a lot of the big guys don't do. So he would be valuable. He really would be valuable. Yeah, I mean, Brett, I would have not pitched Green today. I would have waited until tomorrow, until if they needed him or whatnot. I would have not put him in tonight. So he's tired, man. He's tired. He's hanging off a dear life, and he's a team. He's a team player and whatnot. But at this point, they need to acknowledge we got to give him a couple days, man. We'll pitch him less a little bit in the next 2 or 3 weeks down the stretch to let him be fresh for the postseason. And that's what I would do. But Gallo got a day off. He came in late into the game. He came in in the 7th inning, and he was scheduled to have walk, but he came in a little bit. And that's the unfortunate part, Laurie. No room for Allen. That's the what stinks about this. And I don't. It makes me wonder why they acquired him to begin with. They're not going to play the guy, and because he's already shown that he can contribute. And Jared, I mean, the pen is shaky, man. The pen is shaky. A lot of injuries, a lot of subpar performances, and but there's guys that are I mean, Riding says I'm looking forward to having him back from injury. He's got a live arm. Clay Holmes has been really, really good, and and even these guys Joely and Wandy, there's guys here, and that's what I would. But that's what I would that's why I'm bringing somebody like a Warren, because he can ease the burden between the starter and the one inning relievers. So I don't know why he's down. I really don't. Yeah, Abreu as well. He's got command problems. He's been hit a little bit, but you know, the young dynamic arm. He's another one that's contributing too, and I'm happy that Abreu, is kind of getting his command issues under control. So he does have a very very live arm. So, and he reminds me of Dylan Betances. So and I just hope that he's not as wild as Dylan Betances. Like Betances is unstoppable for 40 games, and then he can't find the plate for like the next 20 games. So you know it's tough. But yeah, well, yeah. I mean the first four hitters are 1 for 18. Like that's no bueno, no bueno. They have to. And it's got to be a more balanced attack. So it does. It does. And you can't constantly rely on the bottom of the lineup right now. So Johnny Loizaga, I'm hearing today that he's. It doesn't look that great right now, Peter. Apparently he might be back by the end of the season, but there is an outside chance that he might be. He might miss, the rest of the season. That doesn't mean he won't be available for the playoffs, but we're hoping that he'll be available for at least the last week of the season to kind of get back in the rhythm. But it doesn't look like he's going to come off the 10-day DL when he's scheduled to come off the 10-day IL. I mean, King is definitely our Sessa. Yeah, I hope that he continues to produce like a Sessa did. So Sessa was underrated and quite valuable. Yeah, Daly, dude, home sinker is filthy, man. It really is fun to watch, bro. It really is. And King is another young, dynamic arm. That's why King and Warren in the bullpen throwing multiple innings each would be a good cushion there for a good bridge from start to relief. So, and I think it's always good to have at least two guys like that. So, I hope we sweep them tomorrow, man. I really do, and I'm hoping Lasagna is not done. But you never know with that type of injury. It's hit or miss. So, and again, he's a very reliable, very valuable piece of this bullpen. But I'm glad they're shutting him down now, and then just hope. One way or another, I just hope he comes back healthy. So, but at the end of the day, they're still going to need to get, I think, two strong relievers this offseason, no matter what. And I think two strong starters this offseason, no matter what. So, no matter whatever they do, they got to get, I think, two of each. Yeah, I mean, when Green gave up that home run, it was just like, I thought the Yankees were going to lose at that point. I'm just like, oh, God. Why? But, and then, walking the guys and then just their defense being suspect, Orioles. So the Yankees took advantage of it. They really did. And that was a heads up, ballsy base running play by Gleyber Torres. He could have been doubled up, but thankfully that ball dropped and he scored that lead run. So, I'll give him credit for that. That was aggressive base running for Gleyber Torres. So well done, man. They get lucky, but well done. So he knew too. I think that, if he scores, they take the lead. So I'm glad he went for it. I really, really am. Yeah, man. It's just Steven, you're right, man. I mean, it's more stressful towards the end of the game now when the bullpen. It just reminds me of the John Wetland days, and where it's like, oh my God, it was constant. I was having half a heart attack every other day when he pitched. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. But that's who they are, unfortunately. So, but I'm glad Nestor's going deeper into games, and it really helps. It really helps. Just you need the bullpen to be a little bit less shaky, a little bit more reliable. And yeah, man. I mean, I put Cortes as a starter until he shows otherwise. I mean, he's shown that he can hang in this rotation. So, absolutely. Um, you're right, Marcel. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's why I think they should rest Green now and let his arm kind of get a little bit more fresh for the postseason. But yeah, they're gonna have to rely on other guys too. Maybe more so than Chad Green, like Michael King, and maybe even Clark Schmidt, Luis Hill, Abreu. Like, yeah, 100%, man. And other guys too, and potentially Ridings and Holmes and the two lefty guys. So Joely and Wandy. So they have enough guys. They just need to just be careful with how he uses them. That's why I take advantage of long relief guys right now, because it gives those guys a little bit of a break. So, Chop, yeah, hitting coach, yeah. I mean, that was just straight up. That's just a straight up clutch hit right there for Gardner, man. And And Michael also, I think Chapman is starting to find his mojo a little bit too. I hope he continues to find it and continues to dominate because we definitely need him. We need early season Chapman in the postseason. So no doubt about it. He was nasty for the first 3 months of the season, nasty. So I'd never seen him that dominant before, and so I hope he gets close to that. I really do. Yeah, Loizaga. Yeah, Andrew. I mean, if he comes, it would be huge to get him back. I really hope that he's comes back, man. Daryl, you're too much, Daryl. You're too much, man. Yeah, Red Sox won, Jays, and Toronto won. So the Yankees stayed on par with their wild card opponents. Um, you know, and I'm also glad, Alan, that was a good move to put Tyler Wade in there to steal that third base steal was key, was huge, man. He's probably the only guy that could have made that steal. So, and again, Gardner getting it done, and Yankees taking advantage of a blue pit in the way that they did, and it's good. Tomorrow, Jared, I'm not sure yet, man. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Montgomery or Kluber. I'm not sure. I'll find out though, Jared. I haven't heard anything yet. And Hart Gardner hustles, man. So does Tyler White. Just reminds me of Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter hustled all the time. So that's one of the things that made him unique, and that's one of the things that makes Gardner. That makes I think people are going to um, appreciate about him when he leaves the Yankees, when he leaves baseball. That those little things, those intangibles that he showed. He's been underappreciated. I think he'll get his due at some point. And it'll be sad to see him go. And I've been guilty of even saying like should move on from him too. But I gotta say he's been one of the more clutch Yankees over the past month. So one more. I mean, actually a month and a half, and maybe even 2 months. Um, Aaron Bummer. Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was Montgomery too. Interesting, Daly. I'm gonna look deeper into Aaron Bummer. Is he a reliever or a starter, Daly? Monty Wade is definitely a spark. Him and like Odor. Odor brings the type of energy that the Yankees haven't had in a while. Gardner brings that blue collar, scrappiness, and so does Wade. He brings that hustle, like stealing a base. He reminds me of Homer Bush. Homer Bush always stole a base when you needed him to steal a base, and he didn't have flashy stats, but he did those dirty things. And Tyler Wade does those things. So he's like the 2021 Homer Bush, and I appreciate guys like Wade. He does those things. He does the little things that a lot of people don't do. We do, Jared. I mean, it's hard to come across guys like Jeter, but yeah, most definitely. I mean, I hope Monty pitches well tomorrow. Yeah, Guardy's up to 225. I mean, he was at 180 last month, so he's working his way up, man. He's working his way up. So I'll take it. And Toronto's hot, John. I mean, Toronto's just hot. They have an offense and just a powerhouse, and they're going to continue to be that way. I'm curious if they don't re-sign Marcus Simeon. I'd be curious to see what they do. But that's one of their keys to re-sign Simeon because he's now played himself into a pretty significant contract. So um, Lorenzo, I'm not sure. I mean, Odor's getting sporadic playing time now. I mean, I hope that they filter him in. I hope he gets to play tomorrow. I like Odor when he plays, so he's a spark plug for the Yankees as well. And Toronto did get healthy. I know Springer's still not 100%, but they're talented enough to win without him. So, and they'll continue to be that way. But yeah, I mean, the clutch hitting right now has been key for the Yankees. They were bereft of that a lot of the season. So, okay, he's a reliever, Daly. I'll check him out. I'll check him out. Anytime we can get a good, solid, reliable. I think one from the right side, one from the left side would be good this offseason. With some durability and just some reliability. Yeah, I think they might retire Guardy's number for his contributions. They might. So I would agree with that, Sean. And I don't know, Elvis. I mean, I don't think Dominguez will be ready until late 2023, maybe early 2024. But now he could progress faster than that and be ready, in after next year. So, I don't mind bringing Garner back. I just don't want him blocking Greg Allen or Esteban Florial or other guys, Tim LaCastro. I don't want him blocking other people. That's the thing. So I wouldn't be starting him a lot. So they're going to have to make that decision. But I could see Dominguez being ready in 20. I could see if he keeps progressing and, the way he is, and I could see him 2023. I could see Volpe also and some other guys, man. It would make the Yankees a really young, dynamic team, kind of reminiscent of the young Blue Jays and the young Padres lineup right now. So, Chop, man, thanks for swinging, bro. Thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy your night, bro. Enjoy. As always, man, you're awesome. Tomorrow, I think it is. Yeah. Which, makes it harder on the bullpen to come back around tomorrow, which is another reason why he didn't use certain guys today. But that, Cortes going deep into the game helped. So it really, really helped. And Odor is a spark plug. Bench or not, bench or on the field, he's a spark plug. Either way, he brings this energy. Again, that the Yankees didn't really have before he came, and like Rizzo has some of this energy, Cole has some of this energy, and a lot of these guys have this energy. Even Stanton, he's quiet about it, but he has this energy. So, and again, standing up for the team the other day against the Mets really, really, really stood out to me. I respect that a lot. And we do have Hicks, and that's the other thing. You always like, they have to establish him. He has to establish being healthy, and then what happens when he comes back? That's the other, and then it creates a logjam with Gardner. So, and that's the other kind of conundrum that the Yankees are in. But they have to establish that he's healthy before they can either play him or trade him. Nobody's going to take him if they can't establish that he's healthy and ready to rock and roll. So, because with his production, his contract is an absolute steal. $10 million a year compared to a lot of the other outfielders making 18 or 20 of similar production. So if he comes back and produces, and he's got 5 seasons left of control, I mean, he can get moved relatively easy. Sean, what's good, man? Sean plus. I wouldn't rule out Hicks yet either, but. And yeah, Daryl, thank you, Nestor, for that performance today. And thank you, Gardy. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Chapman. Thank you, all these guys. And Gio also made a great play at shortstop, too. So, and I've been saying it, he's better defensively at shortstop than he is at third. He's better defensively at shortstop than Torres is. So, and he showed that tonight with a fantastic play. Really. Odor's defense is underrated. He's made some errors, but stuff like that. But then again, third base is really not his natural position. He's more natural on the right side, and the other side, the second base area. So, I don't really. And again, he tends to make up for it with his bat too whenever he makes an error. So, I like what Odor brings to the Yankees. I really do. And he's just a feisty player. He's a feisty player. Yeah, team cheerleader who's also not afraid to. Get scrappy with the hands if he needs to. So, yeah. Did you ever see that photo of what he did to Jose Batista in that fight when he was with the Rangers? If you look at it, if you haven't seen it, take a look at it. Batista's face is over here. Looks fantastic. What a photo. Oof. Hicks does like to walk. Jared, Ellsbury's contract is 10 times worse than Hicks's. 10 times worse. I mean, 5 years of his contract is 2 years of Ellsbury's. So, unfortunately, but I get what you mean. It's been frustrating because ever since he signed, he's been hurt. So, top of the lineup just didn't do anything today, Michael. It's just, thankfully the bottom half carried him and saved him. So, really, 2 contact hitters would be nice. If for average, I mean, if we can get one of them being a switch hitter, that would be really nice. And who can play multiple positions would be awesome. But we'll see. We'll see. Charlie Lau, yeah, I remember him. I met him at Bucky Dent Baseball School down in Jupiter, Florida, a bunch of years ago, and I went there. I met him, and obviously Bucky. I met a bunch of other Yankees down there, and he was a good dude. He had a hitting video as well. Charlie, key to hitting. Oh God, Pavano, that was another nightmare. Yeah, that was a nightmare contract. It was like he did nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. DJ as the leadoff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd be putting DJ at second and batting second, not leadoff. But I put a Gardner or Wade or Greg Allen. Let somebody fast set the table at the top. But I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it's what he has right now. So Ellsbury's contract was a disaster, Jared. Disaster. Like, I think he played maybe 3 out of the 7 years, and he was just hurt. I don't know how you can be injured for 4 years, especially when you're not playing. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I mean, unless he has a second career as an amateur bull rider or whatever, how could you be hurt for 4 years? He didn't have degenerative hips like Albert Bell that forced him to retire. Like, it was always something constant with Jacoby Ellsbury. I don't understand. So Ketel Marte, Sean, or Brian Reynolds. I would love one of those guys. It would be amazing. And Mullins robbed Sanchez early in the game. He's a stud young player. He really is. And yeah, Gary, yeah. Sean, I played baseball growing up all through high school and middle school, junior high, all through high school. Yeah, and I played. I even played. Well, when I was in college, I also ran track as well, but I played like in a league as well, baseball league. But and my cousins played baseball too. Both of them. Well, one of them played Wagner High School. Is actually, if I remember correctly, was teammates with Andrew Bailey, who was a relief pitcher for the A's, and my cousin Troy was a pretty good ball player too. And well, Sean, I don't know if they're going to trade Glaber, but I think it'll be considered this offseason because he's one of the players that have a lot of value. Yeah, and Ellsbury could have torn his ACL. Yeah, sitting. Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. Like, I was eating a hot dog and I got carpal tunnel. Like what? How the hell did these things happen to him? Giambi was a pretty bad contract, but he produced for a lot of it with the Yankees. So, and he hit some clutch hits, and he put up some pretty significant numbers with the Yankees. And it was not as bad as Ellsbury's. Ellsbury's was just a disaster. Just ugh. It was awful, man. Yeah, Glaber is not a fit at shortstop. Glaber is a better fit at second, most definitely. And when his defense is suspect, it tends to affect his bat too. So I'd rather put him in a more natural position so that he's more confident with his bat. Just like Stanton, his bat's better now that he's playing the outfield. I'd be playing him more regularly in the outfield too. So, and I hope they learn these lessons, and continue to kind of take advantage of them. So he's been collecting. Yeah, I mean, Jacoby's $153 million, and he didn't do anything, man. He didn't do anything, like, really. So it was disappointing. Really disappointing. Marte, yeah, I mean, I would take either one, but Marte, I mean, Brian Reynolds has an extra year of control, but I would be not complain at all if they got Ketel Marte. At all. He would make this lineup and this team better. Giambi, no, I mean, he had some big hits for the Yankees, and he played, man. He played. Yeah, I mean, he went through the whole steroid thing with the A's and blah blah blah, and he didn't sit out a year like A-Rod did for the Yankees, but he had some. I remember that walk-off grand slam. I was at that game against, I think it was Minnesota in the rain. That has his Yankee moment, and he had a lot of big hits for the Yankees. He had some big playoff home runs too, in 2003 and then a couple other years. So he was one of the best clubhouse guys around. He helped the young guys. He had Wagner in Staten Island. Yep, Junior. I'm not from Staten Island. My cousins are. I'm from Manhattan and Queens. Grew up in Manhattan and lived in Queens. And then, yeah, my cousin played for Wagner, and he was good buddies with Andrew Bailey, and I think he still keeps in touch with him. So, and they played together in like baseball leagues and all this stuff and whatnot. So, he talks about him on a regular with me. Yeah, Mullins. Yeah, I mean, he would be crazy in New York. I mean, I don't think the Orioles will ever trade him here, but he would be. Be a lot of fun here. He really would. And yeah, Ellsbury's made of glass. Yeah, Hicks made of plastic. I mean, it's just he had a good year. I mean, he capitalized that one good year, but he had Scott Boras as his agent. So, like, this is what Boras does. Like, you have a good year, and then he writes a 700-page novel about how he's the next Willie Mays, and somebody falls for it every time. They do. They have the best just agent business out there, and they know how to capitalize, and like nobody else knows how to capitalize. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. That's why everybody goes with Boras when they know you want to get a big contract. I mean, Max Scherzer is a Boras guy too, so It's just he gets all the big ones. And yeah, I mean, Daryl, I've been saying it for a while too that Torres should be at second and Gio should be at short. Gio's got better range. He's got better lateral range. He's got a better transition from the catch to the throw. He releases the ball quicker and sooner, and he's got a stronger arm. So, um, plantar fasciitis. I mean, he had more than that. But he can run, and again, he didn't do anything at all for 4 years. Like I mean, I ran competitively, and I had plantar issues as well, and I figured out how to make it work. So, and I was running, when I was running track, I was running up to 80 to 100 miles a week. So, hell of a lot more than Ellsbury was running. That's for sure. So it is manageable if you take care of it, and you have to have a good routine around everything. So, and at that level, I would expect, he has the best doctors and trainers around him. So, but I do know plantar fasciitis is a major pain in the butt, but it's manageable if you do it right. You have to have the right amount of training and recovery and competitive. So it's got to be a balance. It really does. But there's no way you'd miss 4 consecutive years of plantar fasciitis. I don't see it physiologically possible. That's just me, though. Yeah, man, Boris is definitely a hype machine, and yeah. I mean, I would have loved Maddox to come to New York, man, Billy, but you know, that stinks. But he said no to you. He said no to the Yankees, and whether it be Boris or not, he turned down the Yankees, unfortunately. So he's a legend, Greg Maddox. So, and we do. I mean, as long as the Yankees win them all, man, I'm happy. And yeah, I mean, Holmes could be used as a closer, and some of these other guys could be used as a closer too. He's been a gem. I wasn't happy originally when they traded Hoyjun Park for him, and I'm like, that hurt, but he's been worth the trade. He's been worth the trade, so I'm okay with it now. And it was fun watching Hoy Park here. He didn't last very long, but it was fun watching him. So I wish him well. I hope he gets good opportunities over in Pittsburgh. So yeah, I don't know if it's all Boone either, Jared. I think it's some Cashman and Hal and some of these other guys pushing Glaber to shortstop. So, and he's made some good plays as shortstop. Don't get me wrong, Glaber Torres, but he's not a natural fit there, like a Glaber Torres is, like Jeter was and whatnot. I mean, Jeter played like 90. Well, he played some 100% of his games at shortstop, pretty much. But he played 90+% of his games also in the number 1 or number 2 spot as well. So there was a portrait of consistency with Jeter, and I think that hasn't been established yet either with Torres. So I think he'll be more consistent at second base. That's my opinion. But yeah, I mean, if Alan, if you don't move Torres or Voit, well, Voit's, yeah, I mean, you do have the same team next year. So depending on what if Rizzo's gone, then yeah, you have Voit at first, and then you have Torres at second, Gio at short, DJ at third. I'm personally fine with that. I mean, but I do think they still need to mix it up as well. I think they still need more versatility. I need a multiple position player, and but would I be off the wall if they move Torres for a good piece back? No. If they move Voit for a good piece back? No. Those guys are replaceable. Both of them. So, but they have to be smart about it. They really have to be smart about it. So it's not one of these things like I don't go get Carlos Correa and then say, we're going to figure out what to do. We're going to get Correa and then figure out what to do. They completely lose all their leverage in trades if they do that. So, and I would never in a million years do that. So they have to figure this stuff out. They have to be methodical. And I said this too, like Cashman's got to be aggressive and he's got to be early. He's got to beat some teams to the punch instead of waiting while other teams just take the guys that they want. So he's got to be aggressive and he's got to be smart, man. So good night, Robert. Thank you as always, man. Thanks for your support, man. And Lasagna is a big loss. Yeah, I hope that he comes back. I really do. I'm not banking on it, but I really hope that he does. So I hope that he's healthy when he does. So, and with him down, I hope that Holmes picks it up, and I hope Chapman becomes dominant again to kind of offset that loss. So I really do. Yeah, and Cashman does call most of the shots, and Boone I think is a little bit of a puppet. Cashman being a puppeteer. So, and that's where I think Boone doesn't have as much say as we would like him to say, and then he's always the one facing the fire. So he's the fall guy too. Like whenever it's crazy because he had 100 win game seasons here, and it was all about the players when they won. Right, the players are great. The players are like, it was never about Boone. But now that they were, been suspect this year, potentially missing the postseason, it's about Boone and not the players. So I kind of find that a weird dynamic, and it's not always about Boone. It really isn't. He has to play. He has to manage the team that he's handed. And he's got to do it. And then you still have guys breathing down his neck saying, "Play him here, play him there, move him here, move him there," and he's got to do it. Um, Clay Holmes has been a wonderful surprise. Cruise control. You know, yeah. I mean, Peter, I'm going after Rodon this offseason. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, Rodon and another pitcher. Who? I don't know. Rodon and Ray, you go after them, but you probably get one of them. Rodon's also represented by Scott Boras, so he's going to get paid. So, Holmes is nasty. Holmes has a filthy off-speed pitch. So, off-speed fastball combo, nasty. Absolute nasty. So, in the pen, yeah, I mean, yeah. Jared, a lot of people are, man. I feel you, man. I just don't know who to replace Boone or Cashman with. That's the thing. Like, unless you hear Theo Epstein is available, he's the only guy I would even consider going after if they got rid of Cashman. Nobody else. The guys are not going to leave the Dodgers or the Padres. It's not going to happen. Unless the Yankees blow them away with some ridiculous offer. I just don't see that happening. No. But Judge, if they extend Judge, I think he's gonna get anywhere between 6 and 8 years, which makes me nervous. And I think it'll be between 25 and 30 million a year, Sean. That's my gut. If he performs again the way he did this year, that's my gut. Anywhere between $150 and 200 million. And he's old. He's 32, so that's the other thing that makes me nervous too. And yeah, I mean, Cole and then the drop off. The drop off is closing the gap a little bit. I like Cortes. Cortes actually has a 2.6 ERA this year. Cole's got a 2.75. Cortes is a freaking 2.6. So he's actually pitching extremely well, better than I thought. And I didn't notice his 2.6 until today, actually, after I looked at the post game stats, which is nuts, man. It really is nuts. Greg Allen, a guy like Andrew. Yeah, I mean, those are they're fun players, dynamic players. I mean, I hope that they get more opportunities here. I mean, Florial, Peraza, I would keep Volpe. I would give him another year of development and let him and Dominguez kind of come up at the next round after like a Florial and a Peraza. Those guys are major league ready, Florial and Peraza. So they've already, Florial's already had a taste. Peraza's been called up, but hasn't had a taste yet. But I think he's more major league ready. But Volpe's ceiling is higher. So, and Dominguez's ceiling is higher as long as they keep developing the way they're developing. Yankees can have a really, really good team, kind of like Blue Jays type and Padres like. So, a young, ridiculous offense. And so there's a lot to look forward to. It really is a lot to look forward to. Yeah, I mean, Brett, they're definitely going to have to pay Judge. I mean, if you're going to trade him, it has to be this offseason with a full season. You don't trade him at the deadline with half a season and then because, you're not going to get as much value unless it's a team that's really desperate and goes for it, but you can get more this offseason. So if they have to decide, are they going to move him or are they going to pay him? Because the only other option is give him a qualifying offer and then let him walk and just get a prospect in return. And why in the hell would they do that? So it would be ridiculous. And Cortes is 26, Brett, and he's under team control until 2026. So they have 4 more seasons of Cortes. So if he continues to pitch anywhere near his pitching, Yankees struck gold, man. They struck gold. My playoff rotation: Cole, Cortes, depending on if it's Tyon or Hill, depending if they let him, go there. It's got to be a 4-man rotation. So if Tyon's healthy, then it's Tyon, then Montgomery. Cole, Cortes, Tyon, Montgomery. And then you have, Hill, and you have a bunch of these other guys in the bullpen, Kluber and some long relief guys. And that's what I would do at this point. I don't want to throw Hill to the wolves yet, but he's shown some poise. So they might give him a taste of the postseason. Maybe one round. If he pitches well, he gets invited to the next round. So the roster changes every round in the postseason. So I'm curious to see. But obviously, Cole is locked in. Cortes is locked in. Montgomery's locked in. Those 3 are locked into the postseason rotation. No doubt about it. So Judge Cole's getting 36 a year. So you have to be above that. I mean, if somebody wants to pay him $40 million a year, I'd let the other team do it. I don't, but that's why you don't let him get to that point. You know what I mean? You trade him and then let a team extend him. You know, because if someone else is giving him 40 a year, that means you let him get to free agency. That means you're just getting a prospect back in return for Aaron Judge, and there would be ridiculous idiot fools to do that. So, and that would be, it would just be, why in the hell would they do that? Volpe, I could see. You know, he's got that type of skill set and those type of intangibles. Sheep. Volpe is he's going to be a special player, man. I like him. Tyon and Kluber. Tyon doesn't scare me as much. He had a really good second half of the season. So as long as he's healthy and productive, you know, I'm okay with it. So, and then they have Kluber, they have Hill, they have some other guys who can step in on on the drop of a dime. And that's why I keep mentioning Adam Warren because he can come in and throw 3-4 innings. Like they need more guys like that. So they may go with a Kluber Hill combo. They might absolutely do that. So let Gallo walk for the Gallo's gotten next year as well. So after 2022, he's a free agent. So yeah, you give him a qualifying offer then, because I don't think they're going to bring him back either. So you give him a qualifying offer, and if he has a good year, someone else gets him, and the Yankees get a nice prospect. So a high level prospect. So that's my thought process with Gallo. Unless somebody offers some ridiculous money for Gallo, some ridiculous package for Gallo, and he's crushing the ball, you give him a qualifying offer. You give Sanchez a qualifying offer next offseason too. If he takes it, he takes it. But I would think somebody would sign him to a couple-year deal. And then you get another high prospect. So there's a couple of guys next year. I mean, you might even – I don't know if they would give Odor a qualifying offer, but depends on how well he's playing. Probably not, because a qualifying offer is going to be close to $20 million. So I don't see him getting one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Cole, Kluber, Tyon, and Cortes. Cashman will be fired if you didn't have Montgomery in there. So you got to have Montgomery in there. You have to. Yeah, I mean, Kluber. I don't know if he's going to make the postseason roster. That's my concern. He still has to build up more arm strength again. And again, if you get three good, if you get 3 good innings out of Kluber and another 3 or 4 from Hill, that's good. And then you bridge over to other guys. I would take that any day of the week. I really would. And there's a lot of folks who want to re-sign Rizzo. I'm 50-50 right now. I could see the logic of bringing him in. I can see the logic of letting him walk too. It really depends, what they do with shortstop and first base. You can go, you can go either way. But would I be upset if they brought him back? Not at all. Not at all. Rizzo's a winner. He's got leadership intangibles. A lefty. He's an elite defensive player. So, but if you do that and you move Voit, the Voit trade's got to get a lot of value back because he's got 3 years on the cheap. So you don't move him unless you're getting something good in return. Yeah, when Swisher lost, when Swisher moved, they gave him the qualifying offer. That prospect turned into Aaron Judge. That's right, Daly. 100%, brother. 100%, man. It's a good observation you made, man. The Yankees could have had Mike Trout. Yeah. They took I forgot who they took. They took somebody ahead of Trout. It was, I don't remember who it was. I forget, but they could have had Trout. Yeah. I mean, they could have signed. I mean, they signed Mark Teixeira, and they still had another pick. And I don't remember what year it was, but I know they picked someone else ahead of Mike Trout. So I have to go back and look and see who they drafted that year. And you're right. Yes, they stopped Odor when Torres and Gio came back. I would still fit him into games, a couple games a week, and let his timing stay there and all this stuff. Don't just sit him for a week or two. I don't think it's fair. So yeah, no, I get it, Daryl. 100%, man. 100%. You make a good point too. You could. I mean, if they move Torres again, they have to move Torres for the right package, man. They could fit Odor in second. Sure, you could do that. Absolutely. He's got intangibles. He's a lefty bat too. And I mean, again, Torres has a lot of trade value. You know, his bat's declined a little bit, but I think he'll be better at second base. So he's going to reestablish a little bit of value for the rest of this year. And then Kluber, yeah, he's a wild card for me, man. He's a wild card. I don't know, man. Kluber got lit up by the Yankees in the postseason too when the Yankees played Cleveland. So I remember that. Didi hit 2 home runs off of him, and Didi went off on him. No. I mean, Olsen, man, if there's a way to get Olsen, they have to consider that trade. Olsen's he's the perfect guy for first base for long term for the Yankees. And even if you move Voit and other people in that package for him, you do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. He's an upgrade over everybody. So as long as you don't give up Volpe for him. So yeah, I mean, Trout would be nice in this lineup. Trout 5 years ago would be better in this lineup. I'm afraid of now because Trout, I think, is 31 or something like that. He's on the wrong side of 30 now. So, but Trout's still, you know, he's an ungodly player. But Trout 5 years ago, oh God, forget about it. It would have been ridiculous. And yeah, I think Trout, if I remember correctly, was picked in the 20s. So a lot of teams missed out on him, man. A lot of teams. It's like Mike Piazza was like 200 and something pick or 300, whatever it was, in a 20 something round. And he turned into a Hall of Fame catcher. Like, he just got passed by everybody, but one of the best catchers ever. Offensive catchers ever. And Odor's got the best bat flips ever, man. Syndergaard and Kluber, I know, Syndergaard over Kluber? Maybe depends on how much the contract is. He is younger than Kluber. I mean, you know, it depends on the contract. That would be a moderate contract with incentives based on innings pitched. I would do that. But I wouldn't give him no guarantee $15 million or something like that. I'm rerouting that money to Rodon. But again, if you can get him on a reasonable deal with incentives, I'd be okay with that. Syndergaard and Rodon. I'd sign up. I'd sign up. Yeah, he's a Gold Glove, Peter. I mean, it depends on the cost. Like if he's going to cost $20 million a year, I don't know if you bring back Rizzo because they need more pitching. And Verlander, yeah, we've been talking about Verlander too, Cruz. I mean, you can get him on, again, a reasonable contract, and he's coming off Tommy John. So with a lot of incentives based on innings pitch, you do that too. I pick him over Syndergaard. Than me. That's any day of the week. But they're going to have to be, you know, I think that I don't know if they're going to invest in the outfield. I'm not sure. If you can get Rizzo on a 2 or 3, I would too. Nothing longer than that. Verlander hasn't played this year. He's coming off Tommy John, so he's ready to go for 2022, Jared. And yeah, you could do that with Syndergaard. And then if you let Mark too, that's another prospect you get, another draft pick you get. So I see the logic. I think the Mets are going to offer him a qualifying offer too. So the Yankees are going to have to forfeit one this year as well. So keep that in mind. It's going to offset. And I know they're giving Conforto a qualifying offer. So they announced that one today. But, you know, and this is why I think the NBA has the perfect model for contracts is that they cap it at four years now. Ridiculous money, yes, but 4 years, no more than that. And I think it would be ideal to do that in baseball. But then the union will never allow that. Will never allow that. It'd be just too much. Robert, I don't think the Yankees go after Trout. I don't. I would be shocked if they did. I mean, I would be shocked. Herman and Severino bullpen, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, Daly, if the Mets offer him a QO, I think he'll come back to the Mets. I really do. But if they don't, then it's common sense to at the very least make him an offer. You know. Yeah, I think Zach Britton's he's obviously done for this year. He's done for most of next year too, Peter. I think his Yankee career is probably done. I say thank you, Zach, and you move on. He had 3 dominant years with the Yankees. Unfortunately, this year was terrible, but I thank him for what he did with the Yankees. If you look back at his stats, he had 3 elite years here. So absolutely elite years. And that was one of the better relievers in all of baseball. So, but I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, I don't think the Angels are going to let Trout go anywhere. No way. I think they're just going to keep adding to that I think they're going to add some pitching and maybe make a run next year in the West if they can add to a healthy Trout, and then you add them to Otani and these other guys. Oh yeah, and then Pujols is going to be off the books officially, so they're going to have money to spend, and then Upton's off the books next year, so they're going to have money to spend as well. So I look for them to spend the next 2 off seasons. The Angels. Moreno's not afraid to go after it. He's not. No. Yeah, I mean, would love to have seen Trout with the Yankees last 10 years, but whatever. Hopefully the Yankees can win without him. But I'm going to wrap it up, guys. It's getting late here, but I thank you all for coming. You're the best. And hopefully tomorrow we'll talk about a sweep of the Orioles. So enjoy your night, everybody. Thanks so much for your support. Catch you guys on the end tomorrow.